Right, it's recording. So today we're talking about client business process. Yes or no? So we have already understood the background of client business process. What do we mean by client business process, and why we need to understand the client business process part of the second phase of the project, which is your business blueprint. So any idea what is client business process?
Client business process includes Client business process includes the legal entity. It includes the name of the legal entity for whom we are going to implement the SAP. So client business, the other things that includes in the client business is the business process, what they are doing. First, we need to understand the business process. Then after the business process, then we need to understand the master data structure, how it is. Then we need to understand the legacy system, what they are using presently. Then we need to understand the infrastructure, what they are having, and what are all the challenges they are facing in an industry, and finally, why they are going to implement the SAP in their organization.
Yes. So if you have to understand the client business process, so what are the key points you should highlight? So when it comes to any business entity or any client or customer organization, tomorrow you implement SAP, you have to understand the background of that organization, right? You have to understand the enterprise structure of the organization. You have to understand the master data structure of the organization. You have to understand the business processes they have. You have to understand the legacy system they have or the current system, right? Or the old system they are having. And from that legacy system, they are moving into the SAP applications or SAP system. Then further, you should understand the infrastructure they have, whether it's on-premise or the cloud. And on top of this, it's very important to understand the business complexities they have, right? And once you understand all of this, then of course the goal is to understand why they are implementing SAP applications. When you are implementing SAP applications for an organization, you have to think always from the business point of view. You do not try to replicate anything and everything. You don't try to just propose any solution, right? Whatever you think. No, it's not about proposing any solution and every solution. It's about understanding the business first. Because end of the day, the implementation that we are doing, it is for the organization. It is not for the individual. It's not for us as a consulting company. Yes or no? So when we are providing the consulting services, we need to understand, right, the pain points of the organization. We need to understand the challenges of the organization and how SAP applications can simplify those challenges. And that is why part of the second phase of the project implementation or the BBP phase, we are trying to understand the client business process. And when you are trying to understand the client business process, the important aspect would be understand the background of the organization, understand the enterprise structure of the organization, understand the master data structure of the organization, understand the business processes they have, understand the legacy system activities they do or the legacy system they have, understand the infrastructure they have, right? Understand the business challenges and complexities they have, and importantly, you should understand why they are implementing SAP applications. The simple reason behind this implementation is they want to simplify the day-to-day business operations activities they do using SAP platform so that they can generate more revenue, right? And they can by providing better, faster, and simpler customer experience. End of the day, any organization that implements SAP applications, they want to simplify the business complexities they have, right? And they want to generate more revenue by providing better, faster, and simpler customer experience. That is the ultimate goal. Getting it, right? So this is called client business process, and you have to understand all the key aspects. So from the interview point of view, if I can tell you how to speak in interview, because any interview you go, right, you are saying, okay, you have worked in implementation, you have worked in support, you have worked in rollout, you have worked in upgrade, migration, enhancement, any project that you have worked on. The first thing they would ask you is, what was your client business process? What was your client business process? So how to speak in interview about the client business process, right? I have taught you around like complete information, 3 to 4 pages of information I have given, but you cannot highlight those 3 to 4 pages of information about the client business process. So what is that you have to keep in mind when you speak about the client business process? So in interview, this is what you have to highlight. First, you have to speak on the name of the legal entity, or who is your client, name of the legal entity, the year they founded, right? Next, what industries or industry they are into. Getting it? So next is the background of their products, services they have, the background of the products and the services they have, the legacy system they have, the business challenges they have in those legacy system, in the legacy system, why they are implementing SAP, in SAP implementation, what are the solutions they are implementing, and in that particular project or in the project, whichever project you are showing in your resume or whichever client you have worked, right? What was your roles and responsibilities as an individual? Getting it? So, for example, my client is XYZ India Private Limited. They founded this organization in 1960. They are into retail industry. They have so and so products and services. Before implementing SAP, they are using XYZ legacy system, right? Or they had whatever standalone system they had or the legacy system they had. So you have to talk about that. And of course, already we have discussed what is the like cons of having the standalone systems and what are the pros of having an integrated platform. Getting it? So when we're talking about that, so you have to say whatever client, whatever legacy system they had, so you have to highlight that. And on top of that, you have to say in the legacy system or in the standalone system or whatever old system they had so and so challenges. And to simplify those challenges, they decided to implement SAP applications. And part of this implementation, let's say it is ECC implementation, they plan to implement ECC application, and in ECC they have implemented FI, TO, MM, SD, PP. Let's say primarily this many solutions they have implemented, right? In this implementation, so and so solutions were implemented, and as you are getting into SAP MM, so you can say I was part of the MM team, or I was primarily involved in the realization phase to go live, and this is where I was involved in development activities, testing activities, user training activities, documentation process, and certain extent you can say when I was involved in data migration and go live activities. And further onto that, of course, you will be part of the hypercare support and ongoing production support. So this is what you have to highlight when they ask you about the client business process in interview. Key aspects, you have to understand what is the name of the legal entity, the year they founded, the industry they are into, the products and services they have, before implementing SAP applications, what legacy system they had, and what challenges they had in those legacy system or in the legacy system, why they decided to implement SAP applications, in SAP, what solutions or modules they have implemented, and what was your roles and responsibilities. And on top of that, even you can share further onto that. After this, you can share the project experience that you had. Getting it? So this is pretty much the concepts of the client business process, or this is what you have to highlight when they ask you in interview about the client business process. This is very important. Any project you show, any project you have worked, any project you are working and you are going for a change or you're going for interview, by default they would ask you the client business process. The client business process, the key aspects are, a quick recap. The key aspects are, you have to understand the organization background, you have to understand the organization enterprise structure, you have to understand the master data structure, you have to understand the business processes they have, you have to understand the legacy system they have, you have to understand the infrastructure they have, you have to understand the business complexities they have, and why they decided to implement SAP. Getting it? And when you speak about the interview, when you talk about the client business process in interview, you have to highlight for which client you have worked, what was the industry, when they founded this organization, what products and services they had, what legacy system they had before implementing SAP, right? And when they decided to implement SAP or when they implemented SAP, what modules were implemented or solutions were implemented, and part of that, what was your roles and responsibility. On top of that, if you want to highlight, you can highlight how was the project experience. As a consultant, as an individual consultant, so how was the project experience? What set of challenges you had, what set of complexities you had, and what was the learning in the project? That is something you can highlight. So this is how you have to prepare for the client business process. Already I have given the task, create client business process, 30 pages PPT you have to create for whichever client I have given the task. Getting it? Able to understand how to speak in interview about the client business process. Clear?